Hello. You already probably get some informations about your homework assignment because during this morning I sent you a presentation with all those information. I think everything is pretty easy, but I would like to go through all those information once again just to be sure. And this is important, and this is the reason why I'm making this video presentation. So the reason is that I would like to provide you more information about how to create a brand, because as I checked my presentation, I realized that you receive a whole bunch of information about what the branding is and what the brand is and how to do all the branding stuff, but I think there's one really important information missing, and this information is related to the basic process of creating a brand. So within this presentation I would like to go through all those things. So let me just once more explain you what is important for your presentation, or let's say seminary work. You got a task where you should imagine that you are working for the Unilever company as in marketing department, and you should choose one of the products which are listed below, and you can see there is a whole range of products like shampoo, body spray, aftershave, hair gel, hairspray, and makeup, and you should choose one of them, and then you should try to design a brand name and also the image like logo for this kind of chosen category or this kind of chosen product. So I think for this point it's really easy to understand what I want, and then I add one more slide showing you the guide, let's say, because you can think, how should I create my presentation? So this guide can easily help you to create the presentation. So the first one more important thing, this presentation or this task guide is the similar for the real life. So in case you will work at the marketing department of any company, this guide can help you to create a new brand. So as you can see, I think those are the information which can help you anyway. But anyway, so first slide should be about who is your target market. I mean, who is your consumer? Age, gender, let's say income, the level of income, and so on and so on. So try to describe your consumer as much as it's possible. You try to give me as much more information as you can, because this is not just because of me, but also because of you, and you can realize how important it is to obtain all those information about your consumer. So that's why. Then you should try to create, or you can say find, a suitable name for the product. And again, you can find lots of information within the presentation which I gave you, but still I need to highlight that creating a name or finding a name is it's not so easy as you can think, because the name should have some criterias, like to be or the consumer should be able to spell the name without any problem, or the name could, let's say, tell the story of the product, and so on and so on. There are so many things you can take into account by creating a name. But anyway, you can try it, and I think it will be some kind of fun. Then you should try to find a color for your packaging, or you can think about the color of your logo or the brand, because again, the colors has a huge theory background within the literature, and yeah, the colors, they are playing a vital role within the setting all the aspects of the brand. And color, as you probably know, can attach your attention. So that's why the process of choosing the right color is also very important. Then you can try to shape or try to make a shape of the package or the brand or the product itself. It doesn't matter. Again, the shape, as you will realize from the presentation, is really important for the perceiving of the product and its story and its other aspects by the consumers. Then you can think about materials for packaging or for the product itself, because nowadays you probably already noticed that we are talking about sustainability in many ways, and that's why I think a suitable material should be taken into account by thinking of the product. Well, and the funny part is coming, I think. You should try to sketch the product, or you can sketch the logo if you choose. And I think it could be a really funny thing, because you can take your crayons, you can try to make a picture of your idea how your logo should look like, and so on. And then the last thing is write up your brand specification, justifying the decision that you made. So in the other words, the last thing should be about creating let's say few rows about why you did your decisions like you did. Okay, so that's the task guide and some more technical information about your presentation. You probably already know that the presentation, the format of the presentation could be like a PowerPoint. In that case, I would like to ask you about some commentary which you can add to the presentation. This is the one things what you can do, and the other thing, or the other way how to do your presentation, is a video presentation. I will really appreciate this version, because I can see you, or I can see your presentation and your appearance within the presentation, and it would be much easier for me to evaluate your presentation. But anyway, there's no like, I'm not strict with this, and it's really up to you what kind of format will you choose. So yeah, and maybe just one more thing. If you decided for video presentation, please don't do the presentation to be longer than 10 minutes, and on the other hand, don't make it shorter than 5 minutes. And the last and the very important thing is the deadline for the presentation. And I see within this slide there is some issue with that, but anyway, the deadline for the presentation is Sunday May 24th, and the deadline is like the right midnight. Okay, so in the Monday, during the Monday, I can evaluate the presentation, and at the end of the Monday I can give you a credits, respectively the mark, the final grade. Okay, so this is enough for your homework, And now I would like to provide you some more information about the process of brand creation. So if you are interested in this, please follow me, and I will show you some more information about brand creation. Well, the literature or the overall information about how to create a brand it's a huge, it's a huge resource pool where you can find those information. There are like tons of books and tons of papers about this topic, but in anyhow we can, let's say, distillate the more important steps from this process of brand creation, and we can make like the list of 7 essential steps of creating a good brand. So if you have a look on the slide, you can find first one, you should define your target audience, which I already said in the seminary work assignment. So try to find who is your audience, who is your consumer, and you can make so-called personas. Those are people who represents, like imaginally represents your consumer, and it's like, it's like to have a someone who, like one person who can represent, like, I don't know how many consumers you can have, but like 1,000 people or many thousand people, and and this will be like common person to represent the whole audience. Then you should write your brand positioning statement. So you should, let's say, define why is your brand different among the others. What is the reason why consumers should, let's say, love or buy or whatever you want your brand? Okay, so this is the positioning statement. Then you should try to develop your brand identity. Again, you can find more information about brand identity within the presentation, but now we can say that the brand identity is again some kind of human personal traits incorporate into your brand. So like if you can say that your friend is, for example, friendly, so this could be a brand identity. It could be a part of brand identity, so the brand is friendly, for example. Then brand and association. So this is a good thing. What kind of association could be connected with your brand? And association is mostly about one thing. So for example, if I will ask people here in Czech Republic, and I will ask them about their opinion about the brand Skoda. I think you probably know that the Skoda produce cars, and if I will ask Czech people about this brand, they probably will say it's a Czech brand. They have the association because the cars are produced in Czech Republic, and originally it was really Czech brand, but then it's a part of VW concern. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The first association with the Skoda brand in Czech Republic is a Czech brand. Okay, so you can try to find, or you can decide for any kind association which should be connected to your brand. If you would like to connect association like, I don't know, helper or something like that with your brand, you can do that. So also then as a next step, you can keep your brand consistency, and you can do that by, let's say, trying to make different kind of scenarios for your brand, and you can do some kind of corporate identity materials or corporate identity scenarios, and so on and so on. Then you have to maintain a positive relationship with your consumers or customers whatever you want. Anyway, the positive relationships is the funny thing is that the positive relationships is always better than the negative relationship in any case. So you should think and you should try to figure out what kind of job you have to do in order to maintain and also sustain a positive relationship with your customers. And then number 7, which seems pretty, let's say, normal or pretty usual, but it's hard to get there. Because the point 7 says, make your employees your brand ambassadors, or to be your brand ambassadors. And in the other words, it means that you have to create a special relationship with your employees. They have trust you, they have to somehow like you, and then if all those things works, then they could be like your brand ambassadors. Okay, so those are the 7 steps of creating a good brand. We can go more deeply within those slides, but I will try to do it quickly so you don't have to waste your time. So first, you have to define your target audience. Whenever you will try to sell to anyone, you probably will fail, because it's really hard to create a product which could be suitable for everyone. You can find maybe Coca-Cola or some other kind of, let's say, globalized products, but there are only few products which could be sold like that. So you should define who, what, why, and where. Those are the main questions by defining your target audience, and they really can help you to find, or maybe better to say, describe your audience. So who is your audience? What are they doing? What are they thinking about, and so on, and why? The why is the most difficult to answer, because, well, we can define who is our consumer, what kind of thoughts he has or she has, but why is he or she acting like that? Why? And that's really tough questions. Sometimes you can use tools from neuromarketing, and they could help you. But anyway, this is the tough one. And the where, I think it's pretty easy to answer it. It's not so difficult. Okay, so what about the personas? I've already told you some more information about those things. If you create a personas, I think we can skip the information why is target audience important, because it's pretty obvious. So yeah, and one more thing, how can you let's say sort your target audience? And you can have some let's say criterias which you can use for the consumers or the audience typology. So the first one could be like an age-based target audience profile. So you can find some certain age of the consumers, and according to age you can create a persona. Then you can have, and this is really commonly used, a geographical or local target audience profile. So what does it mean? Basically, how far can you afford to travel to offer services, and what's the maximum distance for shipping your product? So this is just about thinking about the area which you would like, and also you are able to serve to. Okay, and then you can also make audience according a personality driven. or the personality traits, let's say. Because if you decided to communicate, or if you decided to your consumer to be, let's say, extrovert person, so you know much better how to communicate with extrovert person than in the other ways. If you communicate with introvert person, the way of communication should be different. So yeah, as an example here, you can see if you decide you want to connect with a millennial audience, which those people, they are care about social responsibility, so you may have invest some more into showing of your ethical side or your sustainability side, and so on and so on. Well, if we still talking about target audience, we should also talk about their demographics. So aside from the things what I have mentioned before, you should also look at things like income or job title, family or relationship status, needs and aspirations, problems and concerns, or, and this is also really important, what kind of social media they use. Okay, because you can find the differences between for example, Facebook users and TikTok users and so on. Okay, so I know that it's based on age primarily, but the age is not the one thing in that case. So you can use the social media users as a thing which can help you to define your audience. Then it could be a language or favorite websites, buying motivation, gender, and buying concerns. And you can find like a bunch of other things which could be used for setting the target audience. Okay, so and then if you have all those information, and if you do or if you did the decision, then you can try to create your target audience profile, which is aka persona. So the persona then will act as an avatar, which can keep on hand whenever you making an important decisions about the future of your company. And as an example, you can see here, when you decided you want to launch a new marketing campaign or change the name of your product, you can ask yourself whether this decision will suit your persona. Okay, I think this is really easy to understand, and I really highly okay, as an example for persona, you can see the writing on that slide. So you set your target audience, and you can make a persona, which in this case is someone who is called Peter Painter, and you can set all the previous criteria. So you can find, or you can set the age, the profession, what is his, I don't know, will, and so on and so on. So you can find lots of other things into the persona. Okay, there are some more examples. As you can see, you can go more deeper in trying to define your personas or creating personas. Okay, the second step is write your brand positioning statement. So again, it's some kind of sentence which reflects what your brand offers to your target audience and what are the benefits of your brands. And then the statement can be broken down into the three parts, like your target audience, the value provided by your brand, and its backup. So for example, just we can have a look on the example about brand position statement. So as you can see, some kind of brand here is a render forest. So Render Forest is an all-in-one branding platform which provides people aged 18 to 50 with easy-to-use video and logo making online tools. More than 5 million videos and 5,500 logos have been created with Render Forest. So as you can see, it's pretty easy, and anyone who read that can understand what are the services offered by Render Forest. Also, the brand position statement has a form of some kind, form of elevator pitch. Okay, so it's in a few sentences, or even in few words, you should tell everything, all the pros of your brand and product as well. Okay. Then developing your brand identity. This is really crucial. The identity, you probably already know what the identity means, and then you can find some tools which can help you to create this kind of identity. So you can see it's a logo, colors, typography, design system, communication style, or you can create your own brand style guide. Okay, sometimes it's called in a different way. I'm just trying to remember the word, and but anyway, it's like a manual. Oh yeah, the word is design manual or logo manual, and it's what it is. It's a manual which can help you to create, or which can help you to use your logo or brand correctly. Okay. Brand association. I think it's pretty obvious that all brands are connected with some kind of emotions, and those emotions could be like good or bad, but anyway, or anytime, brand is associated with emotions. So companies can send the message through the brand, because the brand thinks it has an emotion in it. So the companies can, through the brand, say you some kind of story. Okay, so the emotions hide in a brand can help you to improve your communication. Well, as you can see on that example, like on the left side we got the Mac, and on the other side we got the Microsoft. And I don't know how for you guys, but for me, the Microsoft is a creator of Microsoft Windows, and you know, I'm a bit older than you, and I remember Microsoft Windows 3.1, and then it was Microsoft Windows 95, 98, Millennium, I think, and so other things. You know, especially the Windows 90, 95, it was a garbage. It was like crazy system, which was like, you know, it was like really bad system. But anyway, for some people it could be great, but for me, if I think about Microsoft, I can imagine things like evil, like really evil, because if it's someone who I really hate, it's this brand. I just don't like the brand because of my bad experiences with their products. So maybe just small reminder, this is the reason why I'm not using Microsoft Teams, which is the software for distance learning and e-learning. I really hate it, so I'm using competitive products called Zoom. But anyway, this is just my point of view on that, and but on that example, I'm trying to explain you what does it mean. So for me, Microsoft could be like evil, and also I can connect this brand with Windows, the software product, Bill Gates, the founder of the company, computer, Monopoly, because it was in that game, also software, computers, and so on and so on. On the other hand, the Apple logo could be connected with Mac, or for some kind of people it could be considered as a cool brand. Someone could connect the logo with an iPod, and for someone it could be like design, again, computer, awesome for someone, some other person, or innovative, and so on and so on. Those are associations which could be connected with those two brands, but you can find like a bunch of other brands, and you can add your own association. You can try, you can think about them, and you can add your association, or in a different word, you can realize what is your association of some kind of brand. Yeah, and if in case that we will together, I would like to make a small game for you, but anyway, you are somewhere out of there, so it's hard to do that. But just try to think. If I show you this color, so what is the first brand you think of when you see this color? You see this color, what kind of brand you realize? I don't have to be a magician if I say that I think that the first brand you realize is Coca-Cola, right? Am I right? Mostly, probably. And if I show you this color, what kind of brand can you associate with this color, green? And for me, just now, it's Spotify. I don't know what brand it should be for you. What about this brand? This brand is really important for me, because this is the color for our faculty. This is our faculty color. So for me, it's my job. The yellow one, I don't know what type of brand you can associate with this color. We got some companies in Czech Republic using the yellow color. The blue, for me, it could be like Pepsi Cola, and so on. So I think it was just funny thing. We are heading to the end. The number 5 is keep your brand consistency. Well, I think there's no more two things like consistency build trust. That's true. And if you are able to keep your brand consistency, you can make your life much easier. Okay, so it's about a teamwork. It's about to define how to use your brand materials while creating some content and so on. It's also about the communication. It's also about the managing style of your company. If your brand is communicating some traits, and your management style, for example, is completely different, you can bet that in the future it will make you a really hard headache, because it will make a problem. So how can you achieve a brand consistency across the channels? Because we can talk about that in the future, but you can use a whole bunch of media to communicate your brand. So in this case, you can use tone and voice, fonts, colors, design elements, messaging, or positioning. Those could be the stones which could be used for building brand consistency. Okay, number 6, maintain positive relationships with your customers. What can I add to that? it's well-known fact that retaining your existing customers is more affordable than converting the new ones. It's not just better, but it's much cheaper. Okay, so if you are able to keep your own and your existing customers, it's much cheaper than to reach the new ones. So this is the reason why it's really important to establish and keep positive relationships with your customers. So how can do that? There are so many ways. You can use like million things for that, but one of the best way how to do that is to make your consumers to be satisfied. And how can make them satisfied is by exceeding their expectations. Okay, so this is a really important thing, and you should think on any possible way to maintain a positive relationship with your consumers. Okay, and number seven, the last one, make your employees to be your brand ambassadors. Again, it's an old true. Happy and satisfied employees are as valuable to company as the customers, because they can spread your goodwill into the world. And if I'm saying into the world, I also mean to the consumers. So it's obviously it's really important to think about your customers, but you have to also think about your employees. They are really important in the way how you communicate the brand. Okay, so that is we were able to make it in like almost 40 minutes. If you don't like it, you can just skip it. You don't have to go through of it. If you did that, congratulations. I hope that this lecture helped you or it will help you to make your presentation. Okay, see you soon. Bye.